observe the hearing if they would like. So those are going. I need to read through our hearing script, which will cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the August 31st, 2022 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Cirque. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case numbers ZH20220125 and 0126. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless a party has submitted testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If we did have anyone here from the public, they would then have an opportunity to present after the applicant had given its testimony. I will give the zoning plans examiner, Wes Menzel, who's with us, an opportunity to provide any testimony in addition to his staff report. I'll then, in the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. So for our purposes here today, Mr. Nelson, I'll give you an opportunity to tell me about the project, give me some background, help me understand why this project is appropriate and why I should grant the relief requested. I'll then hear from Wes. I'll ask some questions along the way. I'll let you respond to any of my questions or anything Wes has to say. And then after all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker asking questions or make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony, and that's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present here at the hearing today. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I will do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect with the tech that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, final thing I need to do is just swear everybody in and then we can get started. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, you need to be sworn. So if that's you, if you could raise your right hand, I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, guys. Okay, Mr. Nelson, if you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thanks for hearing us. We have 2 currently vacant lots in Evanston on Graydon Avenue. They're virtually identical to each other. They both formerly had houses on them, and neither of those houses provided off-street parking. And they existed quite well for 90 or 100 years or whatever. Came down a number of months ago. One of the owners came to Habitat seeking to donate. It was their family home. She was now the executor, and that's what she wanted to do with it, which is great. The vacant lot next door actually happened to be owned by the city of Cincinnati. And I reached out there. I'm blanking on the name of the person I spoke with at the time, but just asked if they would be willing to donate so that we could build 2 houses. And they couldn't donate. They had to do a legal process, determine value. But between the 2 of them, we thought it was worth it to do 2 houses side by side. The houses that we're proposing, we feel are very in keeping with other structures in the neighborhood and on the street. Part of my presentation has the last houses that were there, and I think you'll see think you'll see our new ones will fit in pretty well. Unfortunately, to be able to build 2 homes, we cannot provide off-street parking in what we would consider a reasonable way. So we're seeking to, instead of doing only 1 home with off-street parking, to 2 without. I guess that's probably the short version. Happy to answer any questions from here on out. But
sure. Wes, did you want to add any testimony here today?
Hi. I don't know if I want to add too much. I would just say that overall, the public benefit of the 2 new houses may seem to outweigh the concerns about lack of off-street parking. So I know that block has has a mix, or very few houses with off-street parking. So it's similar to what's there. But there is a concern just in general that we would say to anybody doing this kind of project that the lack of off-street parking does create a concern, but in this case, maybe outweighed by the public benefit of the 2 new houses for habitat. So thanks.
Gotcha. The side setback variances, are those on the 2 sides that the homes will be sort of adjacent to each other?
Let's see here.
Is that right, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, and Wes did a great job checking that. It was actually not part of my application. I just missed it. But I want to say it's 612 maybe in SF4, and I think I'm just barely under that. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's a minimum of 3, total of 12. So the total is where we're short 1 foot.
Okay.
So you have 5.5 feet on each side. 6 feet on each side would be, conforming. So you need a 1 foot variance from that 12-foot requirement.
But it's only 6 inches on either side.
Right.
Okay. All right. On Huron Avenue there, Mr. Nelson, if you're familiar, are there a lot of vacant lots there still? I'm seeing on Google Maps quite a few vacant lots.
This is Graydon.
Right. Isn't it on the corner of Graydon and Huron?
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought I had my maps page up, but it looks like I don't. Yeah, so the side bordering the cemetery has been expanding, and a lot of those lots, if you find it like on Cages, they're either owned by the cemetery or they're owned by the port and they're going to the cemetery. So basically the whole parking load on the north side of Huron is pretty much going away.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's going to become cemetery, like actual part of the cemetery?
I mean, I'm not exactly privy to their plans, but it's going to be their land.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. And these are each 2-story homes. Is that correct?
They are.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have any more questions. Is there anything else you wanted to say in closing or otherwise, Mr. Nelson, before we adjourn?
Not necessarily. The only part of my presentation I forgot to add was, and I know the community council letter is in there, but Habitat has come on to build homes in Evanston at the request of council as an attempt to be able to provide affordable housing, where a lot of home prices have gotten really out of reach for a lot of people that have called Evanston home for a long time. So we're working with them, and they're happy to have us.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I noticed that letter. Okay, so I guess let's leave it at that then. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for your time, your testimony here today. I've had a chance to review the application materials, the letter of support from the Evanston Community Council, the staff report from Wes, and based on those things and the testimony that I've heard here today, I'm going to approve the application. I believe that it is reasonable and compatible with the neighborhood. I need to formalize that decision in a written opinion that I'll be working on over the course of the next 2 weeks. As soon as I finish that, I will put it into a PDF and email it to you directly. So you'll have it just moments after it's complete. As soon as you have that, and I believe we've been through this process before, but as soon as you have that, you can work with Wes on getting the permitting approved and move forward.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions you may have. And if you'd like a status update on the decision, feel free to also shoot me an email or give me a call. I'm happy to answer any of those questions.
Sounds good. Thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Good luck with the project.